engage with each other, learn a few new, interesting ideas, thoughts, what people were engaging with, what kind of information and language that they were using. So really that was just a forum for connection, discussing and community building. So now we're going to move on to the afternoon breakouts, and we're going to have a few people come and present just a little summary of their afternoon workshops and what they'll be discussing in those workshops. But before that, Brett just wanted to make a few mentions.
Yeah, so we made a couple major additions to the Assembly in terms of accessibility, and we've been somewhat successful in implementing it, but we want to acknowledge that it did not happen in exactly the way that we intended. We have people here who've been briefed and trained on attendant care. I am one of them. Kaylin Stacy is the other one, but I can't see them right now. But what we want to do is we want to build a culture of support into the Assembly. So if you require assistance with anything, moving a chair, getting some food, the idea of the attendant care provider is that I can help you with that. And any of us, if you see somebody who needs help, you can ask.
Get an idea of what all of the breakouts consist of and what they'll be talking about or what they'll be actually doing. So some of the workshops are action-oriented, which is really exciting. So the first one, connecting spirituality and climate justice, we're going to have Gail come up and just give a brief little summary.
Hi. We had a wonderful opening this morning with an Indigenous ritual that closely connected environmental concerns and spirituality. For some of us, the connection of spirituality with climate justice is a given, but we don't often talk about what we mean by that. For some of us, spirituality, or at least religion, seems to be an obstacle to justice. And that's a legitimate point of view too. Some of us have a long record in thinking of things spirituality. Some of us this is just a new idea that's just coming up. So at this workshop, we will be asking and discussing a lot of questions. What the difference do we mean by spirituality anyway? What does spirituality have to do with climate justice, or vice versa? Do they enrich each other? Are they really a given together? And whatever your background and wherever you are on a pathway in a spiritual sense or in an activist sense, we'll welcome you to join the discussion.
Great, thanks Gail. And that will be happening in the Auckland Lounge, for anybody that wants to join in on that. The second one is Planet Collective Action, and Jess is here to summarize that.
I'm Jessica. So in room G, we're going to have a discussion on planning a collective action, and it's an open discussion. And yesterday we saw 3 examples of great actions. A bunch of us went to Jack Clayton's house at 153 Huron and delivered our demands that all the parties, including NDP, needs to do more on climate justice. And then there was a youth voting mob that marched to the advanced polls to vote, hopefully to stop the Harper majority. And then we had a 5-day walk from Queen's Park heading up to Shelburne to stop the largest open pit mine that they're planning to build. And that's a US hedge fund that wants to build that mine. And so these are examples of actions that took place yesterday, and in our breakout we're going to be discussing what do we want to do next. So if you're interested in having a say in what action we could do and helping to organise it, then come to room G.
Thanks. And the next one is creating a climate justice manifesto, and here's Tara.
It's a Canadian climate justice manifesto, actually. I think the second permit question from this morning really worked well because we were asking you guys to imagine what would life be in about 10 or 15 years if we don't make changes now. And the one thing that came up, well, one of the good things that came out of Cochabamba, a lot of documentation on the rights of Mother Earth and Indigenous rights. But these may not necessarily resonate with Canadians. And what we're trying to do is to sort of put in a language that the average Canadian can understand. And how do we make that transition? How do we start to do it so it's not chaotic? How do we do it gradually and hopefully, in a way that's sensible for everybody? And we're just in the beginnings of doing this, so as much input as you can possibly give us, if you're interested in helping us out with it, we love you. We're on the second floor in the Navy. Thank you.
And the next one is a climate justice popular consultation project, and Christine will come and discuss her idea.
Hi.
Hi.
So the notion of doing a popular consultation on climate justice also came on the heels of the Cochabamba conference last year in Bolivia, 2010. And it came out of the idea that we can't really wait for government elites or bureaucrats to take any kind of radical action on climate change, but that needs to happen at the grassroots, and it needs to be forced upon them. We can't wait for them to do it. So the notion that there should be a global and country-based referendum was forwarded. And in order to get to that point, we thought it would be a good idea to start at the very local level and have people basically administer a popular consultation to other people. It's a form of direct democracy in order to, first of all, gauge public opinion with regard to climate change, because I think there's been sufficient evidence showing that what most people believe about climate change is quite out of step with the official position of our government and many political parties therein. And second of all, to just do public outreach, public awareness, and movement building around this concept. So what it's going to look like right now, we're not completely sure. It's action-oriented. We would appreciate input of everyone from all stripes. And we hope that it will be successful. So, you want to?
Awesome, thanks. That's in room 80. Yes. Okay, so the next one is the Nuclear and Building Alternatives panel, and that's going to be held here. And Angela's going to come up and quickly give a brief summary.
Hey everybody. So 50 years ago, Ontario was 100% renewable powered. And then the government chose in the 50s and 60s to invest in large centralized coal and nuclear plants. We have 3 nuclear sites containing 18 reactors total, and we have 5 coal plants, one of which has been shut down. And we have the Green Energy Act, which is meant to kickstart renewable energy. The province is now in the process of phasing out all our coal-fired power plants, which is a very good thing, for environmental and health reasons. We're the only jurisdiction on the planet that's phasing out coal for environmental and health reasons, and that was due to citizen advocacy. Now, and then at the same time, all the nuclear plants are slated to come to the end of their lives in the next decade. And it takes 10 years to build a new nuclear power plant, so the province is now making decisions to replace those existing nuclear reactors when they come to the end of their lives with new nuclear reactors. And they're committed to building 2 new reactors at Darlington and refurbishing all 4 reactors at Darlington, as well as a couple at Pickering, and they're already refurbishing Bruce. So we're really at a crossroads right now. We can commit to another 60 years of nuclear power, or we can commit to going 100% renewable, which many countries are moving in that direction, and Ontario will never get 100% renewable as long as the province continues to commit to their 50% commitment to nuclear on the transmission grid. So the discussion today is 3 different speakers going to be speaking about different renewable energy options and how we can kick the province's ass away from committing to tens of billions of dollars of new nuclear reactors and toward kickstarting a full-fledged 100% renewable electricity grid in Toronto. And if you aren't able to come
to the workshop, but you're interested in having your voice heard on nuclear energy issues, we have a couple of postcards here to mail to the Premier and to Tim Hudak, the leader of the opposition, which basically say, go green, not nuclear. Exactly what I just described. And if you want to grab a couple of them on your way out as you're walking to the workshops, Carol will be standing in the door and handing them out. Please grab several and get your friends to sign them. And also I have an email listserv called No Nukes News. And I circulate once a week all the most recent nuclear/renewable energy/coal issues once a week to that newsletter. So if you'd like to be added to that list, just give me your email address. Thank you, everybody.
And so we also have in the Thomas Lounge 2 workshops, and those are building your own bike trailer and a gardening workshop. Jason and Joy, if they want, they can come up and just give a quick overview. There's Joy. I don't know about Jason. Oh. Great.
Hi everybody. My workshop is basically going to be demonstrations on how to make your own recycled pots. Also, we're going to give hands-on training to allow you to have some experience on how to do seeding, proper seeding. And we're also going to have some discussions about different ways you can make your garden more organic, such as lasagna, gardening, compost, soup, and just to keep the table open for anybody that wants to add to the discussion. So it's going to be a little bit of everything.
We're going to build a no-well trailer using $20 for cheap fasteners, and feasibly can be done with like very minimal tools: hacksaw, screwdriver, and a drill. I'm going to use power tools to make it go fast, but so this is like a system that can be proliferated amongst all our friends, and we can all have trailers and be independent of big transportation.
As a way to meet our electricity needs without nuclear power. And then Justin Hodor will speak about scientifically analyzing various energy options. And then Martina is going to speak about transition towns, all as an alternative to our present status quo energy electricity system. And Corey Morningstar is also supposed to be here to talk about globalization of energy systems, and she's just not here yet. Maybe I hope she comes. Is that okay with everyone? And then I would like to wrap it up and discuss a little bit more and get some conversation going about how can we plug into this issue, what can we do as a collective group to be involved. It's so easy to just sit and listen to people talking and understanding the issue, but once you understand, you're going to be going, you're not an expert, but you're concerned about an issue, what can you do? And our challenge really is to always act out our principles. And so I really want us to have a conversation about what we can do individually and collectively on this issue. So good. Right now, we have the technology globally and locally to go 100% renewable electricity grid. And I'm speaking here about electricity as opposed to energy more generally, because we use, oil for cars. And we can go green there as well, but my focus is more on the electricity system. Maybe the other speakers will broaden that out. I'm sure they will, to talk more about transportation. But I'm focusing on nuclear power and electricity systems. So the province is at a crossroads, ready to lock, the province is ready to make decisions that are going to lock us into another 60 years of nuclear power. And the province is committed, remains committed, and has repeated their commitment even since Fukushima to the 50% electricity on the grid, which means that they have to build 2 new reactors and refurbish a whole bunch more. And we think instead of spending, and that's a commitment of $10 of billions of dollars. We're talking for the refurbishment alone at Darlington, just for those 4 reactors, could be $35 billion for refurbishment. Yeah. Well, and potentially hundreds of billions of dollars or trillions if there was ever an accident, like what's happened in Fukushima. They're already the numbers that I've heard that they've pulled out, and again, these are underinflated massively, but they said 42 billion just to decommission the plants. And that doesn't take into account the tens of billions of dollars for all those people who have been relocated and having to build new homes, and the insurance claims that are going to come from that. And then there's going to be radiation claims down the road, people getting cancer, and we're talking trillions of dollars. Like, you could bankrupt and just totally kill the Japanese economy. So if we're prepared to put all that at risk here in Ontario, I mean, we've heard the energy minister come out on the news in the past couple of weeks saying, well, we don't need to worry about an accident like that here in Ontario because our reactors are safe and they're not on a nuclear fault line. But that is actually a very controversial statement because there are a lot of geophysicists out there that claim that we are on fault lines, and accidents do happen. And you know, Chernobyl wasn't caused by earthquake either, and so accidents happen.
Environmentalists that I really like and respect have actually said that they're pro-nuclear now because it didn't go as badly as it could have, and especially George Monbiot is one, but there were a couple in the past year, Mark Lyons, Stuart Grant, who are very, I think, very strong proponents, environmentalists, and also very strong advocates of nuclear and geoengineering and biotechnology, genetic modifications, and they're arguing for these things on environmentalist grounds. And I kind of, to me, it made me think that it's important to address how concerned people who aren't necessarily scientists can try to engage with these arguments and try to relate to these questions, because some of it does center on your understanding of the facts, right? Like either nuclear power is safe or it's not, either the climate is warming or it's not, either the climate is warming because of anthropogenic emissions into the atmosphere or not. And these are all factual matters that we can determine through studying natural phenomena, we hope. Having said that, though, science is not just a source of neutral facts. It's also, in our world, it's also a business. In our world, it's also a source of authority for a wide range of claims, some of which have more evidence behind them than others. So there's several different things going on here. There's science as a business, there's science as a source of authority, and then there's science as the accumulation of knowledge that we have based on lots of people studying evidence, natural phenomena in a kind of systematic way.
But overall, it's a model on communities transitioning to lower energy and also having a lower ecological footprint overall, which of course also includes alternative energy. So first, let's have a look at the underlying challenges that the transition aims to deal with. The two main challenges are peak oil and climate change. There is as well a third one, economic instability and inequality, but I'm going to leave that aside for this presentation for this sake. I'm just going to talk about these twin challenges. So we've heard a little bit about it now. Just to show of hands, how many of you are familiar with the term peak oil and understand what it means? And half and half, okay. So I'll try not to spend too much time on this. So peak oil doesn't really mean that you're going to run out of oil overnight all of a sudden. It could potentially happen, but essentially it's unlikely that it's going to be a sudden thing. It will be a gradual process. What it does mean is that worldwide, the oil extraction has passed the point where oil is easy to find, easy to extract, and therefore cheap. Current oil fields, as well as the future oil fields that are being discovered now, are increasingly unproductive due to the far higher extraction, production, and transportation costs. So, to this point, it's still fairly easy to extract oil bicycles. Can include renewable energy that's been mentioned. So it could be co-ops, solar co-ops, or getting geothermal energy on the street that can feed several homes. Local food from community gardens, fruit orchards, and better use of existing fruit trees and other fruits that are very available in nature. We just don't know how to use because we haven't learned it. And takes good notes that at the end of the meeting, shared that is much more of a creative process and it's driven by the attendees, not by the organizers. That is one of the really important aspects of transition as well. Earlier, talking about all the different options for a energy reduction in your community. So this would be something longer term, definitely 15 to 20 years ahead of time. That's not something we're tackling here in Toronto just yet. That's a really big thing to do. So there's plenty of other points to focus on. So this is just a quick example of the approximate number of transition initiatives across the world. There are 733 transition initiatives right now in 34 countries, and they're growing constantly. Here in Ontario, we have 29. Across Canada, there are 49, and growing very fast.
We tend to worship Mother Earth, very much connected to Earth spirituality. Most groups will honor a goddess and or god and goddess together. And there are different, within the Wicca tradition, there's a lot of traditions that feed into that. So some groups will be all women and will focus specifically on the goddess and that spirituality. Other groups, usually the ones that I work with, tend to be more balanced, have male and females working together in groups. And again, it's the spiritual, working with the seasons, working with Earth, working with the cycle of the year. So that's what Wicca is within the nation.
Hi, I'm David Kimmerman. I'm a professor of environmental studies at York University. I work in religion and ecology. Many years ago, I became a Zen Buddhist. I've practiced and taught in Zen Buddhist temples and groups here in the city and elsewhere. In the late 1980s, I had a colleague in Manitoba. We created an organization called Canadian Coalition for Religion and Ecology, and which went on for about 10 years or so. And part of that was connected to developing the Earth Charter process for the AOS Summit. And in the course of doing that, I and my colleagues became involved with all the different religious traditions in Canada and looked at how they thought about the environment, how they thought about nature, how they thought about talking about it, sang about it, chanting about it.
I use the Nexus network, and really the goal was, to create a sort of a working document on what would be the words with that. As Christine mentioned, and we did, we said, let's see what Canadians, in terms of, let's hire environics, and we did that to get a sense of, we were even treading in the right direction, right? So we had these wonderful questions that we thought, okay, Canadians, that we all love, but what would Canadians think? Like, would they really, would they count it down? We did the whole, it was amazing, 75–80%. All the questions are absolutely, Canadians were bold, and of course they're bold, young, middle, income levels, yeah, so across the spectrum, economics, ethnicity, regional as well. So we realized that Canadians do care. The question is just for not engaged. Now, how can we get them engaged? So at the international level, there's a few countries that, Spain, for example, Dutch pockets and so on, have thousands of people, usually get the same questions. And the goal was kind of motivate that. Ideally, we wanted to do a consulta on the 23rd, but obviously we weren't able to do it. So we kind of worked on that for a while, and then what ended up happening at the international level was a lot of the countries involved. At the moment, they weren't focused on, they weren't going to list the popular consulta for, not at this point anyway, for American reasons. Some countries maybe didn't have the political conditions or social conditions to undertake a national referendum. That was ideally, if we had a global referendum, then potentially, morally, that would have a lot more sway at the international level in the negotiation.
There's industrialization, capitalism is what's causing this problem. You need alternative models. You have to to recognize the rights that were there, again, Indigenous rights that were there from the beginning. And you need to create new formal structures. So, I mean, these are very, very powerful. We support them wholeheartedly. We think they're amazing. But the bit of the trouble is that a lot of people in Canada, Canadians are comfortable with the North better. You know, we don't feel the effects of no water or loss of land or whatever. So that's one thing that we have to overcome. And then secondly, I mean, this is written to a community that gets passionate and gets that sort of Mother Earth. And to them, the language makes sense. But you go into like, just go down to Eaton Centre right now and start talking about rights of Mother Earth, right? Okay, exactly. So how do we take the same sort of core context and translate it in a way that it resonates with Canadians and it respects what has happened, but in a language that's easy for us. And hopefully, if we do a good job of this, it's not just limited to Toronto or Canada, it's spread to each community as they see it. So I think we're going to pass over to you.
So as Tara said, the agreements which you support.
Yeah, I saw them 300 might not be
Okay, it's going to be at the end.
You need to know?
Well, by the time we come back, I'll tell you.
So see money quarter sale or garbage around. The other thing with this now, we're going to make this kind of hard. Once you pat it down, this is easy to
Make paper pot. This is paper pot maker. Paper. Rather than
a wood base, and you could like make arms of the
Yeah, you can just take out that root.
Potatoes better.
You can tell it's organic soil. This is actually called soilless media. It's not real soil. It's peat moss and perlite. And that's what you would use for containerized plants because it needs more moisture. You can put it in your garden plot if you want to amend your clay soil, but it's called soilless media.
pulling the wheel. So they can be crowdy and ugly, they're going to work correctly. So next step here is reports. So, when placing, no, here's the thing, we've experimented with many different ways. We originally started with putting the forks like part way because we figured that that would balance the load. Well, what it turns out more often than not is that weight shifts from back. If you got your cart perfectly balanced, but your load's not balanced, it's going to pull up. I've a situation in you're actually better having the forks back and having your load rest on your hitch mechanism. You'd be surprised that I just use a chain attached to the frame. It works fine. Like we've had our old trailer, the one that would carry 300 pounds, was attached in exactly the same way. We would take 300 pounds, just resting on the frame and chain. So just to be safe and to have great maneuverability, put position your forks near the back as far as possible. You want to have your knockouts of your wheels be below the bottom of the basket. That way I will reach ahead so you can use the shot.
We should bring those up to the GM and tell everybody on Wednesday to bring their
Okay, moving right along. Gardening workshop, I'm sure I saw somebody here with, yes? Would you like to come up, Joy, and just say a few words about, how it went in the workshop?
Well, everybody enjoyed the workshop. What we did was we constructed recycled paper pots, and I taught everybody how to seed. I also informed people about organic gardening and lasagna gardening, which is an easier way of gardening instead of digging. I also talked about compost soup, how to make your compost biodegrade faster. Everybody was quite pleased. They all made their own baskets, and they got to take home some plants they can watch grow throughout the summer. I got everybody's email address, so I'm going to start a gardening club. So if anybody would like to be on my mailing email address, I'll pass the book around and I'll give you information about organic gardening through the summer.
Great, thanks for that, Joe. Thanks for your time putting that together. Great. How to build your own pipe trailer. Where's Jason? Jason's probably still doing that hands-on workshop. Maybe he'll be here. Okay, moving right along to the panel that took place in this room, nuclear and building alternatives. Thank you, Rita. You're very welcome.
Working back on behalf of Angela Bishop. Angela Bishop spoke about our nuclear situation in Toronto, and of course if you haven't picked up one of her campaign brochures, please do. She talked about transitioning using natural gas and transitioning to renewables. Our second speaker was Justin Poldur, who has a wonderful blog, The Killing Train, and he gave us a big picture on climate change. And then Martina Rowley from Transition Toronto spoke, and very inspiringly about making change, reskilling, using open space arrangements to make decisions, and community-based solutions. Situation. Thank you.
Thank you, Rita. Okay, and moving on to the Climate Justice Popular Consultation. Christine, please come up and tell us what happened in your workshop.
Okay, so what we discussed at the People's Popular Consultation workshop was, first of all, we really tried to define our objectives in doing this. And we decided that ultimately our goal would not be to have a scientific poll that will put on Stephen Harper's desk and automatically say, oh dear, I've been so wrong, and change our ways. But that rather the goal of it would be more process-oriented than outcome-oriented. And so what we hope to do with this is for the popular consultation to be a tangible project that will exist beyond the actual meetings of the People's Assemblies, that can strive to unite different groups, different movements working under the umbrella of climate justice. And as a way for us to speak outside of you know, the walls here and to be able to reach a broader audience, the people that don't necessarily come or ally themselves with the climate justice movement. So we need as many people as possible to affect this, and please come and see me if you'd like to be signed up on an internet list. We, in particular, want to look at groups that have access to churches, community centers, and unions, and places where people who are not necessarily allied per se with the climate justice movement can get involved, and we can start to build this beyond ourselves. So, yeah. Cool.
Thank you, Christine. And the third last one here is creating a climate justice manifesto. Is Tara here, please?
It was a really good one. Like I said, we're still in the very beginning processes of doing this. So we discussed sort of the framework, who would we be talking to, who are we getting the inputs from on this as well. We sort of came up with a little diagram on things that most people were in agreement for, like ways of respecting the environment and the earth, and how to frame the I guess, even the wording to some extent as well. And again, this is something that, you know, it's going to take us months, possibly longer than that, to do. If you're interested in being part of this, we'd love your input, so just come see me and give me your contact information, and we'll move forward with this.
Great, thank you very much for that. Just a note before I forget. Those people who were either the note takers or the facilitators in the morning, if you could ensure that the material that's generated on your flip charts, on your notes, if you could leave them with us, the organizers. We have a table up here at the front, if you already haven't brought them up, and also for the workshops this afternoon, if there are notes and flip charts, please leave them with us, and we'll process them and get them back to you in some form, we hope, in the not too distant future. So, going on to our second last workshop is the planning a collective action. Who will be coming up to speak to that? Nobody? Are you still in that workshop? Is that workshop still going on? Please, somebody pop up and talk about the collective action that was planned in Room G.
Our group started by brainstorming a list of actions that people in our group were interested in organising. And so there was a mega quarry, the South March Highlands logging in Ottawa Valley, tar sands issues, urban sprawl in southwest Mississauga, the G20 first year anniversary is coming up, electoral reform, People's Assembly Fair, and CEDA. So after we brainstormed that list, we did a straw poll and came up with two of the most popular ones, which is the Mega Quarry and the People's Assembly Fair, and we're going to have people flesh them out. But just before I do that, if you are interested in getting involved in any of these issues, then put your email here and the person who's working on it will connect with you. Is that cool? Yeah, you can email the person, but some people don't have an email, so just put it here and we'll follow up. Okay. Yes, it's all written.
Okay, so I took responsibility for forwarding the quarry issue, and I've already been involved with it for a while, so I know there's several groups that are working really hard and doing excellent work. One of them is NDAT. Another one is the Citizens of Ontario. So because I've been working with them already, I've agreed to contact them and to organize a meeting that I will host. And then John has agreed, one of our group members has agreed to contact the Council of Canadians, and we'll get a meeting together with hopefully someone from each of those groups, as well as anyone in our group that's interested in taking further action. And we'll identify the messaging really clearly and what the next steps are, because currently the deadline for letters of opposition is April 26th, which is Tuesday. There were people in my group that were interested in writing letters, so if you want to write a letter and you email me, that's my email address, I'll forward you the information on how to write the letter, and if you get it to me by Tuesday at noon, I'll make sure that it gets up there, because it has to be up there by Tuesday at 4 o'clock. And then people agreed to contact, different people agreed to contact the Native communities up there and try to pull something together and move forward on the next steps, which will follow this deadline on the 26th. And go from there.
Thank you very much for that.
Just really quickly, the second idea that we were pursuing was that we would organize an outdoor fair or festival through the People's Assembly. So basically the proposal was that the next event that we would do as an assembly would be a large outdoor, inclusive, family-friendly fair which would have all sorts of things happening in it. And anybody who wants to get involved in that can, we'll announce our next meeting through our listserv. So if your email's not out at the front, you can do so.
Okay, and so finally, last and definitely not least, yes, hello? John, do you want to add to this? Okay.
Announcement. The Popular Consultation Working Group formed here today will have its next meeting on Election Day at 6:30 at the Ontario Institute of Studies for Education on the 5th floor. Everyone welcome.
Great, thanks for that, Joe. Okay, as I was mentioning, the very last workshop we did was on connecting spirituality and climate justice, and I think it's appropriate we end off with a summary about that, given how we began the day with an amazing water ceremony. So I'm going to pass it over to Gail to say this last word.
Okay, this is the first time that we've had a workshop specifically on spirituality, so we wanted to just kind of set a baseline with it. We started off with some basic questions like, what is spirituality? We had quite a variety in the group as to what does the word even mean. We discussed some of the differences between spirituality that unites and spirituality that's divisive, particularly when it gets organized in certain religious ways. We talked a bit about, in terms of what it means, the connection with emotion, how it draws out the emotional contact, so that we're not always just talking through our heads, but talking through our hearts. We talked about learning to have a common language across different traditions, coming together in an interfaith way, and also in a way between people who practice a more secular kind of spirituality and those who connect with religious traditions. We talked about needing good metaphors for what we do, because in the environmentalist movement we have an awful lot of big words like sustainability and that, and are very conceptualized. And if you want to get to the heart, you need images, you need good metaphors. So one, for example, that came up was breathing. We have to breathe in, we have to breathe out. We cannot just breathe in, we cannot. So consumerism is like always breathing in and never breathing out. So using good metaphors and developing good language and pictures and celebrations. I'm pretty glad to hear about this project of the fair. We talked about the uses that you can make of spirituality and that environmentalists have been making of spirituality, both as a reason to be active and supporting activism, and also as a way of dealing with personal issues and healing issues, especially the trauma of burnout and frustration, which sometimes can take you away from activism, but sometimes is a necessary break and care for oneself as you get ready for the next round. And we ended up with getting several suggestions for other things that we would like to explore in a more systematic way. We hope to look towards creating a workshop specifically on Indigenous spirituality and climate justice. Someone also suggested having a panel. Some people want to get a little more information about specific traditions. So we've got a list of 3 or 4 things in our notes, and we'll be working towards bringing some of those to future people's assemblies.
Thank you very much, Garcia. So I'm going to pass the over to Sarah, and she will say a few words in closing.
So I know it's been a long day, but I have a few important points to make before we leave. It seems like all of the workshops were amazing. I went around throughout the 2 hours, and there was so much energy. There was so many different things going on. This was exactly what we were hoping for. We had workshops where people were using their hands, other workshops where people were using their language and dialogue, other workshops where people were listening. So we really wanted to have a variety of different forms for people to engage and connect, and I think we succeeded in that. So that's good. Just before I conclude, I wanted to kind of reflect on this morning's ground rules that we laid out. Just for everybody individually to kind of look at them and see if they feel like they followed them and they gave everybody, the space that they needed to engage themselves and were respectful of other people's language or their own language, and also respectful of the assembly process. And that's kind of where I want to conclude. The whole idea of this assembly, and Brett had mentioned that we are having one in the summer, so we will be planning another one. And this is the idea that the assembly is an ongoing process. It's not a point, we don't intend this to be just simply a point of destination for people. This is a means of engaging with each other and learning to live our lives outside of structural politics, not relying on the government, but relying on our communities and using the skills, the participation, and the values of your community members and work as a community. So the thing is we're trying to build a movement, right? And so we really need the help of everybody in doing this. And in planning this day today, we had a few key, amazing organizers, and some of them are moving on, and we're kind of going through a transition. So in order to keep this movement going, in order to build this movement and this process, we could really use the help and the participation of everybody in this room and the engagement going through into the summer. And all the resources that you have, everybody has so many ideas, so many resources. It's amazing, and we just request the help from everybody here. And we also we solely work with donations. So any kind of funding or donations we could receive for this process obviously would be very much appreciated. But we just want to kind of end on that note, and that solidarity and accountability in a community forum is one of the core philosophies of the horizontal process. So we want to keep that going, and we want to keep the positivity going and build the movement into the summer. And we're all really excited to do that. So we hope the summer event is really, really fun, really social, and really builds that connection. Thank everybody for being here.
I waited until the end for a personal announcement. One, I need a place to sleep tonight and Sunday night before I go back to Montreal.